Hey everybody, Saturday streaming time. I hope we're here.
With a string of requests?
Yeah. Oh, there we are, okay.
We've got the technology there, we've got the technology here. Hopefully we'll see a few comments on the way.
Request night. Yeah, I was never quite sure what to expect with these ones, but hello, welcome. Request night number 3. Saturday streaming number 9. Yeah, we've loved these nights because you get to do all the work. Normally we spend the week working out how our show's going to run, and we always end up with a set of things that surprise us and really enjoyable looking things. But welcome to our studio here in Millthorpe. A couple of people tuning in already. Nice to see you. We are here in Millthorpe. I can see a couple of unfamiliar names already. To let you know where Millthorpe is, in case you're wondering, we're just west of Sydney, so Sydney's behind you over there. That's to the north. We're 250 kilometres from Sydney, just far enough, I think, up in the highland. It's the weather's cleared up. We had some snow last week, but this week it's all frosty, and big frosts, -5 and 6 overnight, and sunny, beautiful sunny days. I think it was probably 16, 17 degrees outside.
It was balmy.
Yeah, sunbaking weather, shirts off.
Get the paddle and pull out.
Wiradjuri country. I'll say before we start, we're right in the middle of Wiradjuri country here. Big slab of the middle of New South Wales is Wiradjuri country. It's called the land of the 3 rivers by the Wiradjuri people. So the 3 rivers being what the whitefellas call the Macquarie River, which is the the Wombil. And out there, my river, the Lachlan River. I spent some years of my life surrounded by the Lachlan River. That's the Kalare and the Murrumbidgee. So, yes, still is, always was, and always will be Aboriginal land. And we certainly like to acknowledge that before we start. Some lovely requests, thank you very much. These are free concerts, but I've just remembered, Chloe, put a link to donations in the comments.
Yes, that's a really good idea.
We're learning as we go here, folks.
All right. Yeah, some people have been saying, but how do we donate? Very tricky to try and get something on Facebook unless you're a not-for-profit charity. Oh, look,
Carroll Dover drove through Millthorpe today. You should have called in and said good day. We're here. We've been really isolating here. We're very happy in our house. So, and yeah, no gigs, of course. No gigs at the moment. So very happy here at home, playing music. And
unless you count every Saturday night.
Yeah, well, I am enjoying it very much. Yeah. It's not like a live gig, but it's not like a live gig, and having done hundreds of gigs every year for 30 years, we're just making the most of it and enjoying the change. Our first request is for Shane Collis. We've got 2 for you tonight, Shane, and both of them are Slim Dusty songs. Which this is one of my favourite songs. When I was a kid, Dad had the album Walk a Country Mile, where Slim revisited his old childhood songs and he redid some early songs and he talked about his old man, Noisy Dan. And this was my favourite song, one of his very first songs. When Slim was just a legend. We only got to meet him backstage once or twice. I've got to say, even in those 2 times, he was generous and full of sage advice. Very, very kind man he struck me as, but I didn't get to know him at all. When he died, passed away in 2003, very soon after that, they had the big National Folk Festival down in Canberra, and we were playing there with our bigger band Collector at the time, and we got the joys of singing this song for the big tent full of people in the big tribute for Slim concert with Joy McKean and Heather and the whole crew from Slim's family there, and it was a great moment. So before we start, thanks for the request, Shane. It's been very nice to get back to this song, and cheers everybody. All right. Wander north to the homestead, way out further on there to run. By by a gully in flood let me linger, where the summery sunshine has flown, where the logs tangle up on the creek bed, and clouds veil the old northern sky, and the cattle move back from the lowlands, when the rain tumbles down in July. All the settlers with sad hearts watching the rise of the creek from the dawn. Their best crops are always in flood reeds. If it rises much more, they'll be gone. The cattle string out along the fences as a breeze from the south races by, and the limbs from the old gums are falling when the rain tumbles down in July. Now the old sleeping gums by the river awaken to the herd straying by, from the flats where the fences have vanished. The storm clouds gather on high, the wheels on the wagon stop turning, the stock horses turn out to stray, and the old station dogs are a dozen on the husks in the barn through the day. All the crowbird draws rain by the river. It's been years since he's seen it so high, and that's just a story of homeward when the rain tumbles down in July. Isn't that a great song, hey? Isn't that a fantastic song? It almost doesn't matter what style of music you like. It's an undeniable song. Behind you out there we have a painting. The familiar people to the Saturday streaming will know that we put behind the camera a painting of my great mate John Dengate. And I know it was one of John's favourite songs as well. Though he wasn't known for loving country music, that one was undeniable. I think he wrote a parody, didn't he? Of course he did. When the Pope comes to town in July.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did, yeah. Anyway, that's John, but he loved that song, I know he did. By the way, tomorrow there's a bit of an event for John, and because of one of the positives of our online world now is it's a Zoom event, right? So even if you can't get to Sydney, you can get to Sydney through Zoom, and we might put a few details up on Facebook about that later. This is a request from Marilyn Russell.
Hey, Marilyn.
Hey, Marilyn, Frank. Hope if you're not joining in yet, maybe you're catching up. I don't know. Yeah, say good day if you're out there. Sounds like Chico's had to catch up tomorrow. He says it's dropping out at his end, but we look okay at this end. So hopefully it's all going out. The internet can be a bit, a bit average at the receiving end, or usually our end's pretty quick, but yeah.
Anyway, it's always there on YouTube. Don't get frustrated. Watch it tomorrow.
Hang in there. It's fun to have your conversations going with the crack, but you can catch up any old time. Yeah, it's a song, one of the very first songs from the Australian tradition that we learnt. It was sung by the great Sally Sloan, probably the great singer of traditional Australian music. She was born in Parkes in 1892 and lived most of her life in Lithgow, so kind of either side of where we are now. She's a local. And but
this was a Yeah, this was also a song sung to me all through my childhood by my mum. So I sing it now as a lullaby for Joanna as well. And Megan copped it too, I think, for a while. But it's called If I Were a Blackbird. And join in if you can, if you know it. If you don't know the tune, then harmonise.
I think Marilyn said good day, Chloe, so Marilyn will be singing along, I hope.
All right.
Here's for you, Marilyn.
If I were a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing. I'd follow the ship that my true love sailed in. And in the top rigging, I'd there build my nest and pillow my head on my young lover's breast. I am a young maiden, my story is sad, for I fell in love with the young sailor lad. He courted me strongly by night and by day, but now he has left me and gone far away. He promised to take me to Donnybrook Fair and buy me red ribbons to tie up my hair. And when he returns from the ocean so wide, he'll take me and make me his own loving bride.
If I were a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing. I'd follow the ship that my true love sailed in. And in the top rigging, I'd there build my nest and pillow my head on my young lover's breast.
His parents, they slighted me and will not agree that I and my sailor boy married should be. But when he comes home, I will greet him with joy and take to my bosom my young sailor boy.
If I were a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing. I'd follow the ship that my true love sailed in. And in the top rigging, I'd there build my nest and pillow my head on my young lover's breast.
Nice choice.
Good choice, Marilyn. Thank you. It's one of the lovely things about these request nights is we get some songs we haven't sung for an awful long time, apart from, like you say, lullabies for the girls. Look, 18th of August, just gone, it was the 54th anniversary of the battle at Long Tan. So I was particularly glad when Shane Collis requested this song. It is one we've done once before. It's one that, you know, in the old pub rock days, bashing out 6 hours of psychedelic rock and roll in country pubs and across Sydney, you would the most common thing you'd hear every time is play us some Chisel, and usually play K-San, and K-San, play K-San you'd get, and occasionally you would. John Schumann did a version of this where he brought it a little bit more historical accuracy to the song. It's a grand song that Don Walker wrote, but it was John Schumann's good work to make it Long Tan rather than K-San. And that's the version we'll do for you now, more or less. So thanks for the request, Shane, and yeah, particularly poignant. Just last year, one of my dad's mates, so I don't know about you, I'm 50, what am I, 51, and so for me, it was my father's generation was the Vietnam War. Mum and Dad were young when they had me, so my dad didn't go, but a lot of his mates did, and one of his mates who went, one of his better mates that did, passed away last year when he was with Dad, and Dad tried to keep him going. So this is for you, Fitzy, for the memory of Fitzy. He was, yeah, just one of those many mates who went. It was just, in those days, that was the generation. It was the Vietnam War, and in a lot of ways, the people who'd gone to the Second War and the Great War, the First World War, had some, I don't know, they just had a different experience coming home than the Vietnam veterans did, and there's a lot of that in this song. So Don Walker, John Schumann. I owe my life to the choppers at Longtown, and I sold my soul and my cigarettes to the black market men. I had the Vietnam cold turkey from the ocean to the Silver City, and it's only other vets could understand about the long forgotten dockside guarantees. How there were no V-Day heroes in 1973, and we sailed into Sydney Harbour. I found an old friend, but I couldn't kiss her, but she was mine and I was home to the lucky land. And she was like so many more from that time on, and their lives were all so empty until they found their chosen one. And their legs are often open, but their minds are always closed, and their minds were held in vast suburban chains. And the legal pads were yellow, ours long pay packets lean, and the telex riders clatter where the gunships once had been. And car parks make me jumpy, but I never stop the dreams, or the growing need for speed and Novocaine. So I travelled around the country from end to end. I tried to find a place to settle down where my mixed up life could mend. Got a job on an oil rig, flying choppers when I could, but the night knife nearly drove me round the bend. So I travelled around the world from year to year, and each one found me aimless, one more year the worse for wear. I've been back to Southeast Asia, but the answer sure ain't there. But I'm drifting north to check things out again. Sydney's almost gone. There's only 7 flying hours, and I'll be landing in Hong Kong. There ain't nothing like the kisses of some jaded Chinese princess. I'm gonna hit some Hong Kong mattress all night long. Oh, the last plane out of Sydney's almost gone. Oh, the last plane out of Sydney's almost gone. You know, it's really got me worried. I'm going nowhere and I'm in a hurry. Oh, the last plane out of Sydney's almost gone. Oh, the last plane out of Sydney's almost gone. thanks for the request, Shane, again. Great choice, and nice to get back into that song again. What a wonderful songwriter Don Walker is. One of our best, I reckon. One of our very best. We always hope with these request nights that we'll get a little bit of a variety, and one of the things we love playing is old Australian dance tunes, especially dance tunes from our area here. And that's what we've got for you now, a set of tunes from Harry Schaefer. Harry Schaefer's been floating around a lot on Facebook this week. Rob Willis and Graham McDonald and all the Wonga Willie guys have been talking about Harry Schaefer a lot. I just noticed at the corner of my eye, "G'day Dallas, hi. Nice to, well, not see you, but you know what I mean. Virtual hugs. Yes, Harry Schaefer, a remarkable story. He was one of the few old dance musicians who actually wrote his tunes out. Mostly they were ear players, and Harry was an ear player, but he could also use the dots.
He arranged for bigger groups.
Famously, he used to travel around on his push bike. He was from Forbes and out of Forbes and a little bit further west than us, but he famously used to travel around on his push bike with his fiddle on his back and could play for a big room. Like, I don't know if you've seen something like the Forbes Town Hall. Beautiful big halls, country halls, with just the fiddle. If I could go back in time to see Harry Schaefer playing his one unamplified fiddle for a room of, who knows, 500 dancers, that's what I'd do. I'd love to see that. Every now and again we've had a chance to have a bit of Collector. Our big 7-piece band played acoustically in that hall once. Big hall, and the power went out. Do you remember? Big storm in one of those old Forbes festivals.
Yeah.
Really teaches you a lot about your music when they take the PA away. You've got to make it work, you know. You can't use the amplifiers. But yeah, 3 tunes from Harry.
Got a couple of waltzes.
Yep.
And a quadrille. So
we've been playing the quadrille for quite a while. I love this quadrille on the end.
These two seem to lend themselves to a circle waltz to me. I can see the big circle swaying
the big
to these waltzes. Yeah.
So the first one's the Wangaratta waltz. So while Harry was from this part of the world, we say, actually he originally came from Echuca and down south of the border. Good on you down there. There's the man in charge doing all the right things and heading in the right direction with your numbers, with the dreaded COVID. So thank you. Thanks for doing what you can to keep all our mates safe. And here's 3 tunes, and these ones are for Dennis Mackay. Dennis is out here now, and Dennis is a wonderful player, auto harp man, wonderful player, musician himself. And if no one else is going to request a dance tune, I'm really pleased that someone like Dennis.
Play along, Dennis.
Yeah, that's right.
They're all in G.
All in G. That's right.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
lovely tunes. I think they are anyway. Harry Schaefer. There's a whole collection of them, of course. That's just 3 of his big collection of tunes. One of the great things about the fact that he could write them down is that they're still here. They wouldn't be otherwise. A lot of those ear players, the great tune players of the last 150 years, died with their tunes unrecorded. Not all of them, of course. We've got so many. It's illustrative. You don't have to scratch very far before you realise that Australian dance music of the last 150 years is unique. It's not like anything else in the world. It's remarkably small amount of the dance music came from Ireland. Lots of English tunes, some Irish tunes, lots of Central European tunes and German tunes, Northern German. We were playing some Schottisches once in Germany with some musicians, young and old musicians, and some of them knew the tradition very well. We'd explained how a lot of our Schottisches came from that part of the world, and when we finished playing a set, one of them said to us, one of the young ones said to us, yeah, your music sounds Bavarian, only strange.
And we've never fully understood that.
But they all laughed.
They all laughed.
What they used to say, when they laughed too much, they say, I throw myself in the corner at that one. Jim and Valda, hello. Oh, we need to talk to you guys. The girls have finished with the cubby. We thought we might just drop it off one morning, Jim, if that suits you. You might just find it. We'll leave a note just when we do. Yeah. Nice to see you guys. Just talking about you the other day and realising that Joanna's getting big. After this song, we're actually going to hear from the girls tonight. They've both had a request and they're both on their way. But we're going to do this one first. Without getting too depressed about the whole thing, COVID and the stresses of the arts, this has not been a good week. We've lost a couple of Australian mates and musicians, singers, very, very talented and very, very young, from, just too early, and I just hope that the kind of losses that we've just had can be more and more avoidable over the next few years. And in America, we lost one of the best singer-songwriter and musicians that I've ever heard live, and Justin Townes Earle died. And it broke me up a little bit. I only got to hear him once. I know you came to Australia a lot, and a lot of you out there probably seen him more than I got to see him once at the Annandale Hotel in Sydney, and it was just brilliant. You could have been watching Hank Williams at his best, or any of those great old-style country singers, but he had that... his backdrop was a Joe Strummer backdrop. So we related to him as like a punk as well. You know, he had that ethos as well, and we loved him very much. Anyway, when he did pass away, my immediate thought was to listen to this song, and then when I posted Justin singing it on Facebook, a couple of people, Pete and Lucy, said, oh, you should do that one on Saturday night. And while we don't do a lot of American songs, we do sing American songs. I guess we like singing songs from here, but now this one's from here too. And this is for Justin. 38 years old is too young, and I just hope we can get through it okay. Yeah. Well, since you left, I had no place to be. I spend most every day doing as I please. I had pockets full of money, hear it jingle as I walk. It's a good life from now on. And if I walk down the street, everybody knows my name. They all step aside and let me go my way. They all smile and snicker, and some don't talk at all. It's a good life from now on. Oh, all the fancy restaurants way inside. They serve me out the back door and never ask for a dime. So you tell me what I'm missing, and I'll tell you where you're wrong. It's a good life from now on. Catch a first-class trip on a downbound train, 'cause I've got nothing left here to keep me hanging on. It's a good life from now on. It's a good life for me from now on.
It's a terrible, wonderful song. That one.
Terrible, wonderful song, yeah. Hey, it's time, boy. Try and hold her back.
Child.
A few people have asked for this one. Yeah, Dennis, g'day Dennis, is pointed out there on Facebook that Justin is Steve Earle's son, and so yes, strong blood in that family. Ladies and gentlemen, John is one person who requested an encore performance of something Joanna did a little while ago. Hi, Joanna.
Hi.
Hi, say good day to everybody.
Good day, Lord. Good day.
Now, what we've got for you today is something that Joanna did, I think was a variety night a little while ago. And it's from Alice in Wonderland, which is all of our favourite book, written by Lewis Carroll.
Yes.
Yes. And
the chapters were raised in the writing class written, and there's heaps of bunch of chapters.
A bunch of chapters, yeah. We've done that book about 3 times through, chapter a night. And this is our favourite bit. It's wow, wow, wow. So here we go. You ready? All right. The Duchess began nursing her child again and singing a sort of lullaby to it as she did so, and giving it a violent shake at the end of every line.
Speak roughly to your boy.
Little boy. Speak
boy.
rough.
Speak roughly to your boy and beat him when he sneezes. He only does it to annoy because it knows it teases.
Wow.
Wow, wow, wow.
Wow. And while the Duchess sang the second verse of the song, she kept tossing the baby so violently up and down that the poor thing howled so much that Alice could hardly hear the words.
I speak severely to my boy and beat him when he sneezes. He can fouling like the pepper when he pleases. Wow,
wow, wow, wow. There could be no mistake about it. It was neither more nor less than a pig.
Yes!
Thank you, Joanna. Nice work, Squirt. And Megan has had a request for a poem that she's not done before, but that she's been having a crack at it here and there. And hello, Deb.
Yeah. Hi.
Do you want a hat for this one? It might work pretty well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to steal the donations hat.
Okay. Oh, the donations. That reminds me. Should we say something about donations?
Yeah, we probably should.
For those who
like eating.
people who are new to the Saturday streaming concerts, they are free, absolutely free. We don't want anyone to feel like they can't join, regardless of any intent to pay or ability to pay, in fact. But yes, we're out of work, basically. We watched $30,000 worth of gigs disappear in 2 weeks, and of course nothing else is coming in except these your great generosity through these nights. There's a link in there to our website. The easiest way to donate is just to go there, and there's a PayPal thing on the front page. But if you'd rather donate by just buying albums, you can pay what you want for a download album. That's well appreciated, but even a little bit helps a lot. a lot, helps enormously. There's the website there too. But I'll hand over to Megan now, and she can tell you what she's going to do.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, sorry, Megan, this is for Tony. Tony Sutter.
Okay. Yeah, I was a bit surprised to get this request because I haven't really done this one before, but Dad's done it, which means that I can kind of, I sort of know the poem just by, you know, peripheral exposure. So I just kind of read it 57 times, and I'm hoping I've got it now. This is a poem written by Edward Harrington called The Swagless Swaggie. And it was one of the very first poems that I ever remember hearing, actually. Like, Dad learned it quite early on, and I encountered it, and I thought, oh, that's what this poetry thing's all about. That's interesting. So yeah, this is sort of an old one for me. Now, this happened many years ago, before the bush was cleared, when every man stood 6 foot high and wore a flowing beard. One very hot and windy day, along the old coach road, towards Joe Murphy's halfway house, a bearded bushman strode. Now he was a huge and hairy man, well over 6 foot high. An old slouch hat was on his head, and murder in his eye. No billy can was in his hand, no heavy swag he bore, and deep and awful were the oaths this swagless Swaggie swore. Now at last he reached the shanty door, into the bar he burst, he dumped his hat down on the floor, and he cursed, and he cursed, and he cursed. Now, a neighbouring shearing shed had just cut out, so the bar was nearly full of shearers and some bullockies who'd come to cart the wool, and they were a rough and ready lot, the bushmen gathered there, but every man was stricken dumb to hear that stranger swear. He cursed the bush, he cursed mankind, the whole wide universe. It froze their very blood to hear that swagless Swaggie curse. Joe Murphy seized an empty pot, he filled it brimming full. The stranger raised it to his lips and took a mighty pull, and this seemed to cool him down a bit. So he finished off the ale, and to the crowd there at the bar, he told his awful tale. I met the Ben All gang, he said. The blighters stuck me up. They pinched me Billy, they pinched me Swag, they pinched me flamin' pup. They turned me pockets inside out and took me only quid, and I never thought they'd take me pipe, but s'help me God, they did. I spoke to 'em, as man to man. I said I'd fight 'em one and all, and I'd have broke O'Mealy's neck, tanned the hide of Ben All, but they only laughed and waved goodbye, and rode away to brag of how they'd stuck some poor Swaggie up, and robbed him of his swag. I never done 'em any harm. I thought 'em decent chaps. But now I wouldn't raise my hand to save 'em from the traps. No, I'm finished with the bush. For good. I'm off to Wagga They don't stick Swaggies up, and they don't take Swaggies down. Now, those bushmen were a decent lot. Bushmen, mostly, are. They filled the stranger up with beer, they sent the hat around the bar. The shearers threw some blankets in to make another swag, and the rousers gave a billy can and a near-new tucker bag. Joe Murphy gave him a meerschaum pipe. Well, Joe hadn't smoked for years, but the stranger was too full for words. His eyes were dim with tears. The ringer shouted drinks all round, and then, to top it up, the babbling brook, the shearer's cook, they gave him a kelpie pup. Next day, an hour before the dawn, the stranger took the track. Complete with pup, a new billy can, a new swag upon his back, along the most forsaken roads, intent on dodging graft, he headed for the great northwest, and he laughed, and laughed, and laughed.
Yay! Well done, Digger. Megan Jean, she's amazing. 2 days ago I wondered if she'd get it, and look at that. Yeah. It's, we might hear that. Oh, we've got to send the hat round the bar here, Chloe. If you're happening to want to donate, there's the hat. Be lovely. Yeah, good on you, Megan. We might even do that one again in a couple of weeks. Saturday the 19th of September, we're doing The Game is Getting Lively, which is our show that is all about the traditional work on the Ben Hall gang, the Johnny Gilbert gang, and all the folks from the Wedden Mountains, the bushrangers from there. I really enjoy singing those songs. Those traditional ballads mean the world to me, and yeah, we might even pull that one out as well.
Again, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, nice work, girls. We gave them a couple of weeks off. They didn't really have much to do with the Henry Lawson or the Carrie Milner shows of the last couple of weeks, so it's nice to have them back today. This is the second Slim Dusty song tonight, but this is not a Slim song. This is a Joy McKean song. And while we didn't know Slim very well, we got to know Joy a little bit better over the years. We spent some nice times together talking at length. Learned a lot. She's kind of my hero in a lot of ways. What a remarkable person Joy McKean is. And not only that, but a really terrific songwriter. And this is probably one of her most famous songs. Written, I believe, after a fairly harrowing trip up the New England highway heading into Warwick. Foggy and rainy, and driving one car while Slim was in the one ahead. And it was she could feel that she needed to sing to keep herself awake, and the windscreen wipers were beating time, as they say. And this is for Shane as well, a request from Shane. Again, another favourite song from when I was a kid. I remember one of our times with Joy was with Andrew Hully and Frank Povar and some other great folks on the Barwon, just outside of Brewarrina. We were at a campfire session there one night on one of the Poets' Treks, and I think I learnt more from Joy on that trip than a lot of other people in a lifetime. Just those choice words of advice from someone who'd been there and done it. And both Slim and Joy had that remarkable performance talent for remembering your name, remembering everything about where they'd met you and what they'd seen you do. And yeah, anyway, so good memories of Joy, and I hope Joy's feeling good. She's a remarkable lady. There was a conversation hour with Joy just recently, and it's well worth the listen if you've don't know much about Joy, or even if you do. Oh yeah. It's a long straight road and the engine is deep, and I can't help thinking of a good night's sleep. And the long, long roads of my life are a-calling me. His rough old hands are glued to the wheel, and my eyes full of sand by the way they feel. And the lights coming over the hill are blinding me. It's a long, tough haul from the way down south. A man's got to find a little bread for his mouth, and a home for his girl, as sweet as my honey can be. So it's down to the gears, she's starting to pull. The gauge on the tank is a-showing they're full. And the lights coming over the hill are blinding me. There's a rain on the road, I can feel the lows start shifting in a dance. Too late, I see the post, and I haven't got the dough, not a chance. Oh no. The windscreen wipers are beating in time. A song they sing is a part of my mind, and I can't believe it's really happening to me. But I'm over the edge, down the mountainside. I know they'll tell about the night I died. The rain when the lights on the hill are blinding me. Hey! Started shifting in a dance. Too late, I'll see the post, and I haven't got the ghost of a chance. Oh no. While the windscreen wipers are beating in time, and the song they sing is a part of my mind. I can't believe it's really happening to me. But I'm over the edge and down the mountainside, I know they'll tell about the night I died in the rain, and the lights on the hill are blinding me. Oh, in the rain and the lights on the hill are blinding me. Yeah. Terrific song from Joy McKean. For Shane, this next song is for Marilyn again. Marilyn Russell asked for this one. It goes right back to one of our first albums. 20 years ago we did a live album, the first of our live records, recorded at Wangaratta Hall, and Frank and Marilyn were there that night. I remember.
The 16th of the crowd.
It wasn't that big a crowd, but the album did really well. And it's one of the first songs we learnt when we were reintroduced to the Australian tradition. It was a song from Mudgee. And I don't know, it was just something about the melody, I think, that first got me. And look, there's versions of this here and there. The version that I remember first seeing was from Mudgee Gulgong, and it was Cat McManus. And I grew up with some McManuses around the Portland area when I was on the farm there with Mum and Dad. And so that sort of rang a bell as well. And then the other source for this song, and I think when you hear it you might be surprised, but the source was a bloke called Alan Killer Riley, a truck driver who picked it up from a tent mate while trapping rabbits in the Burke district. Okay, so there's a little bit of history.
Yeah. When you hear the song, it's a very sweet song, so that's kind of interesting. But that's the version that's in John Meredith's book. There's also a couple more in Ron Edwards's The Overlander Songbook, and the one we sing comes mostly from the one called The Sailor's Love, and then little bits from the others, the Maiden's Prayers as well. But they're all obviously the same family of songs. But there's a couple of great stories in here. One version of the Maiden's Prayer is from a Mrs. Margaret Ransom of Hythe, Tassie, and she learnt it as a young girl. But it was also learnt by John Meredith in 1948 from a pair of very drunk sailors who shared a cabin with my mate and I on the old Taroona while crossing Bass Strait. I was given no option about learning it, he says, for they sang it over for hours, and each repetition being more maudlin than the last. Their only point of difference came when the smaller one insisted on singing the fourth line as hanging by a spar, a variant which so enraged his companion that we had difficulty in preventing them fighting over it.
Isn't that fantastic?
Okay. And this is the song that he listened to ad infinitum as he crossed Bass Strait. I wonder if it was a wild night or a peaceful one.
Thank you, Marilyn. I don't think we've sung it since that night, except for sort of relearning it this week. So, Maiden's Prayer.
chased me through the ice and snow. But now my apron strings don't beat. He passes by me in the street. My grave and dig it deep, and plant white roses at my feet. Yes, plant white roses up above, to signify I died of love. Oh, dig my grave and dig it deep, and plant white roses at my yes, plant white roses up above, to signify I died of love.
No, they don't write them like that anymore, so we sing those ones. Marilyn's just saying she actually listened to the live album this week, so there you go. Yeah, that was Chloe's dad's favourite of ours. I think it stayed his favourite. Chloe's mum and dad were there that night too, and your dad. At one stage, we convinced him that tried to convince him he shouldn't, but he paid for a reprint of the album, so we've still got some in the cupboard. Yeah, Mick Griffin requested a Henry Lawson poem. Thank you, Mick. I didn't know this poem very well, and it's a beauty. It's Henry Lawson, so our great literary genius. I'm still kind of reading it a little bit, I'm sorry. But we did our first of 3 Henry Lawson shows, Soul of a Poet, on Saturday, streaming on the 15th of this month. We've got our second show coming up in 2 weeks, and then we'll do a third one maybe into September, October, and this one will be in the third show because I like it very much. But this is what we've got for you. 1912, so quite a late poem for Henry, and he called this one Down and Out. You'll often hear them mutter, fellow men and brother men, when he's down and in the gutter, oh, he'll never rise again. And they turn aside and beckon to the trainers of their pride. He's the one the less to reckon in the selfish race they ride. 'Tis the old deep down survival of the savage in mankind, in the triumph or arrival whom his weakness left behind. Weakness or a vice resulting from a hell we never knew. And we go our ways exulting that our strength has pulled us through. Though we never learned to labour, love or hate or hope or doubt, we seem better than our neighbour when our neighbour's down and out. We, in our pretended meekness, sorrow, pity, help and all, we feel stronger for his weakness. We feel nobler for his fall. Yes, hypocrisy resenteth its own self in tale and song, while the prodigal repenteth and the godly son goes wrong. But I know the shadows stealing, where ambition broods and smarts, jealousy, the deep down feeling in our secret heart of hearts. While we pass in pride before him, sullen in his misery, there's a woman bending o'er him, seeing things we cannot see. Though we walk in highest places, seeming honest, straight and true, she is saying to our faces, he's a better man than you. Let us not be sure of any of our rival fellow men. I've witnessed far too many rise and fall and rise again. And the prostitute and liar rise to heaven out of hell, and the drunkard rising higher than the man who never fell. For the love of those who love him, and the contempt of those who hate. For he's God, all gods above him, and the mastery of his fates. And for those brave few friends who are ever saying, staunch and true, he's a better man than you are. He's a better man than you. Thanks for the request, Mick. Isn't that a powerful work? And I made the argument in Our Soul of a Poet 1, the first show, that we were setting out to demolish the idea that Lawson's best work was written in the 19th century. Over the next 2 Henry Lawson shows, I hope you'll come with us and at least be halfway convinced, if not entirely. This request was just something that I feel we need to play this week, and once I mentioned that we were going to play it, many people on Facebook agreed that it was a choice. Dan Rather tweeted today in America that it seems like Trump's re-election strategy, or his only campaign, is to say that only Donald Trump can rescue you from Donald Trump's America. So, enough said. This is Bob Dylan's song, the second American song tonight, Chloe.
Yep.
Mind you, Maiden Prayer had been to America as well.
They've all been around.
Yeah, they've all been around. One of my very favourite songs of all time. Written in 1980-81 and left off the first Bob Dylan album I ever bought in time. Perversely by his Bobness, who could do that kind of thing. Seen the arrow on the doorpost, saying this land is condemned. All the way from New Orleans to Jerusalem, I traveled through East Texas, where many martyrs fell. And I know no one can sing the blues like blind Willie McTell.
Well, I heard that hoot owl singing as they were taking down the tents. The stars above the barren trees was his only audience. Them charcoal gypsy men can strut their feathers well, but nobody can sing the blues like blind Willie McTell.
See them big plantations burning, hear the cracking of the whips, smell that sweet magnolia blooming, see the ghost of Slayer ship. I can hear them tribes moaning, I hear the undertaker's bell, but nobody can sing the blues like blind Willie McTell. God is in his heaven, and we all want what's his, but power and greed and corruptible seed seem to be all that there is. I'm gazing out the window of the St. James Hotel, and I know no one can sing the blues like blind Willie McTell. Yeah, I know no one can sing the blues like blind Willie McTell. Good luck for those who are listening in from over the other side of the Pacific in America. Yeah, so much of the best of the world has come out of that country, and we wish you all the best in recovering some of that from the moronic.
Yeah, the fight goes on.
The fight goes on, it does indeed.
Never stops.
Hey, this is a late request that came from Trish Griffiths. Happy to do it. We've never sung this song before in our lives, but I'm more than happy to give it a crack for Trish. We're singing an Australian version of this about as I was crossing over the Abercrombie Mountain, and it's a song about Gardner and Ben Hall, and a sort of an Australian parody. Quite different though, so it was really a pleasure to bring out this one. And some of you will have guessed the song. A couple of American songs, now an Irish song tonight, Chloe. Yep. That's good. So getting
We're all over the place.
All over the place, yeah. Really enjoyable to do this one for you, Trish. It's Whiskey in the Jar.
Help me out with the chorus, please. as I was going over the far Kerry mountains, I met with Captain Farrell, and there's the money he was counting. I first produced my pistol, and I then produced my rapier, saying stand and deliver, for I am the bold deceiver.
Mushering, no-a-do-a-da. Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar.
Well, I counted out his money, and it made a pretty penny. I put it in me pocket to take home to darling Jenny. She sighed and she swore that she never would deceive me. By the devil take the women, for they never can be easy. Mushering, no-a-do-a-da.
Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar.
Well, I went up to her chamber, all for to take a slumber. I dreamt of gold and jewels, and for sure it was no wonder. But Jenny took me pistols, and she filled them up with the water. She sent for Captain Farrell to be ready for the slaughter.
Mushering, no-a-do-a-da. Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar.
The redcoats stood around the bed, and likewise Captain Farrell. I first produced me pistol, for she stole away me rapier. I couldn't shoot the water, so a prisoner I was taken.
Mushering, no-a-do-a-da. Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar.
They threw me into prison, found without a writ of bounty, for robbing Captain Farrell in those far Kerry mountains. But they couldn't take me fists away, so I punched and knocked a sentry, and bade no farewell to the captain or the gentry.
Mushering, no-a-do-a-da. Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar.
We'll go roving through Kilkenny, and I'm sure he'll treat me better than my own sporting Jenny.
Mushering, no-a-do-a-da. Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. Mushering, no-a-do-a-da. Whack fall the daddy-o, whack fall the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. Thanks, Trish. I really enjoyed pulling that one out. I've played bass for it in a million plastic paddy gigs. Shouldn't be rude about those gigs. I had a lot of fun playing the Irish pubs. You know the kind of thing you mean. It was an amazing scene. For a while there I was doing 3 or 4 of them, you know, sometimes a week, playing, just turning up with my bass. Sometimes you were meeting the band for the first time, you know. They're just running all the Irish pubs around Sydney and the Gong. And
Ray Schleifel did some of those.
Ray Schleifel, yeah, some great memories with Tim Kendall and Johnny Spillane, of course, was where I really got into it. Lindsay Martin, so many of those great players. Marcus, I shouldn't start because I'll never stop. This is a request for Frank Russell. I know Frank's still there. Yeah, he's just said he's how much he enjoyed Blind Willie McTell. Good on you, Frank. Hope you guys are doing okay up there. Strange times. Have you north of the border, so far away, but yeah, yeah, nice to keep in touch as best as we can. Oh, look, what to say about this song. It was one of my favourite songs as a kid. I still love it. It's an encore performance from just last week, where we did it for the Carrie Milner's show and Sleepers. But I'm glad. I'm really pleased. I really enjoy singing it. So, yeah, I was told the story last week when we were doing the songs of Carrie Milner that this was one of the songs she sang that was not particularly, rare or anything, so we didn't think of putting it on the album or anything like that. But when we finally got to hang out with Carrie Milner in about 2001, I think we said, at Jamboree Festival, after we'd finished all our gigs for the day, and we're all feeling very relaxed and very happy, as you do when the job's all over, and you've had a good sing together, and all those tensions are gone. And I said, Carrie, did you really sing? I know you did, but did you, you sang The Man on the Flying Trapeze, and she just launched into it. She just started singing, and when she hit the chorus, she just said, come on, she said, come on, and round we went. Oh, once I was happy, but now I'm forlorn, like an old coat that is tattered and torn, left in this wide world to weep and to mourn, betrayed by her mate in her teens. Now this girl that I love, she was handsome, I tried all I knew her to please, but I couldn't please her one half as so well as the man on the flying trapeze. He flies through the air with the greatest of ease, that daring young man on the flying trapeze. His actions were graceful, all the girls he does please, but my love he has stolen away. Now the young man by name was Signor Boney Slang, tall, Megan, handsome and well made as Chang. Where he appeared, all the hall loudly rang, with ovations from all people there. He'd smile from the bar at the people below, and one night he smiled on my love. She winked back at him and she shouted bravo, as he hung by his nose up above. He flies through the air with the greatest of ease, that daring young man on the flying trapeze. His actions are graceful, all the girls he does please, but my love he has stolen away. Her mother and father were both on my side, and tried very hard to make her my bride. Her father, he sighed, her mother, she cried, to see her throw herself away. 'Twas all no avail, she went there every night, and threw her bouquets on the stage, which caused him to meet her. How he ran me down, to tell it would take a whole page. He flies through the air with the greatest of ease, that daring young man on the flying trapeze. His actions were graceful, all the girls he does please, my love he has stolen away. One night I, as usual, went to her dear home, and found there her mother and father alone. I asked for my love, and soon was made known to my horror that she'd run away. She packed up her boxes and eloped in the night with him, with the greatest of ease. From 2 stories high he had lowered her down to the ground on his flying trapeze. He flies through the air with the greatest of ease, that daring young man on the flying trapeze. His actions are graceful, all the girls he does please, and my love he has stolen away. Some months after that I went into a hall, and to my surprise I found there on the wall a bill in red letters which did my heart gall, that she was appearing with him. He taught her gymnastics and dressed her in tights to help him to live out his ease. He'd made her assume a masculine name, now she goes on the flying trapeze. She float through the air with the greatest of ease. You'd think her a man on the flying trapeze. She does the work while he takes his ease, and that's what's become of my love. So now you know. Thank you, Frank. More than happy to sing that one again. Hey folks, we've got time for 2 more tonight, and that's going to bring us to the end of our requests. The first of the 2 we're going to do is for Marilyn, and it's a song that we recorded. It's an old traditional thing. It's been all over the place, including many places in Australia. I think Chloe might have known this one as a kid. I certainly knew this one as a kid. You didn't? No? Okay, well, I certainly did grow up with it around. But we recorded an album when, well, actually, it was a quick album. Some of the best albums we've made, I think, have been just quite quick in their recording, and this one did well for us. We recorded it in 2006, and it's late 2006, early 2007. Chloe was pregnant with Megan, our first child, and we decided to record an album quickly. The previous album had sold out, and we
Time
were
was running out.
playing music with the great Jim McGuinney at the time on Baron. Lots of gigs with Jim in those days, trio gigs and 4-piece gigs with Jim and Mike Martin, and Jim, this was with Collector as well with Jim, so we had a lot of, so we got Jim into our tiny little house in Millthorpe before we moved into this tiny big house, set the place up, and this was the song I think that, so when you're recording an album when you're expecting your first child, it can't help but have a bit of an impact on the way we felt. And when we sang Little Fish, I think it was Megan we were thinking of. She's the little fish in the belly. So thank you for the request, Marilyn. It's, again, we haven't sung it for an awful long time, but it's a pleasure.
Slippery. Oceans addressed, and I'm singing this song to the one I love best. Oh, little fishy, don't cry, don't cry. Oh, little fishy, don't cry, don't cry. Oh, there are fish in the sea, there's no doubt about it. Big as the ones that have ever come out of it. Oh, little fishy, don't cry, don't cry. Oh, little fishy, don't cry, don't cry. When he's caught, he fights like a whale, as he thrashes the water with his long, narrow tail. Oh, little fishy, don't cry, don't cry. 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 Now the anchor's away and the weather is fine, and the captain's on deck laying out of the line. Oh, little fishy, don't cry, don't cry. Oh, little fishy, don't cry, don't cry. Now the crew are asleep and the ocean's at rest, and I'm singing this song to the one I love best. Oh, little fishy, don't cry, don't cry. Oh, little fishy, don't cry, don't cry.
fish. Lots of verses for that one. Hey, it's time for our last song. Thank you to everyone who's come along. Some people have joined in a little late. Hi, Gabe. Hi, Mum. G'day, Sue. Yes, as we always say, these are free concerts. Thank you for all the requests. This last one was requested by Frank. It did get a run in a variety concert a little while ago, but more than happy to sing it again. It comes from Cairns, which I guess Frank and Marilyn, you're about halfway to Cairns for us, nearly. And it's a love song. It's said as a song where I'm going to try and convince Chloe she should marry me.
Like, that's going to happen twice.
It's on top of Old Smoky, on top of Spaghetti. They are free concerts, but donations are gratefully accepted. As I always say, we don't feel like you have to, you know. We really want people to come and just have fun.
Come along often and occasionally buy a download.
Yeah, or some people can afford to give a little, and a little helps a lot. Some people have been giving a lot, thank you, and that helps enormously. But mostly we just love playing, and it's, you know, while we can't do it with you all, we can do it with you all. Yeah, Jack Crossland wrote this one in Cairns. He was a cane farmer and a pig shooter. This is the Pig Catcher's love song. And yeah, maybe you could join in. You'll get the idea. On top of Old Smoky, on top of Spaghetti, you're covered with cheese. Yeah, you'll know the tune. Oh, marry me, darling. I'll love you sincere. I love you the way I love Cairns bitter beer.
I think he's serious.
Oh, Cairns bitter beer, love. Oh, Cairns bitter beer. I love you the way I love you the way I love Cairns bitter beer. Well, I have an old humpy, a camp oven or two.
Oh, he wants me to cook.
I've got a rifle and pig dogs.
Lovely.
Now I only need you. Your bit, here we go. I only need you, love.
The complete set.
I only need you. Got a rifle and pig dogs. Got a rifle and pig dogs. Now I only need you. I can say one thing. You'll never go hungry.
That's nice.
Well, as long as you live.
How long will that be?
On sweet bucks and mango and slabs of wild pig. Slabs of wild pig. Slabs of wild pig, love. Oh, slabs of wild pig. Sweet bucks and mangoes. Sweet bucks and mangoes. And slabs of wild pig. You know, I'll always be faithful.
That's something.
And reasonably true.
Reasonably.
Well, I may love other women, but I'll mostly love you. I'll mostly love you, love. I'll mostly love you. I may love other women, but I'll mostly love you. Well, I know I'll often get drunk.
At least he's honest.
Sometimes I'll tell lies.
There goes that.
But how often I'll tell you.
Oh, steady on.
How blue are your eyes?
Not blue at all, actually.
How blue are your eyes, love? How blue are your eyes? How often I'll tell you. How blue are your eyes? Oh, this isn't going very well. But I've got one last trump. No, we don't say that anymore. I got one last card up my sleeve. Oh, marry me, darling. I never will fail. There are worse blokes than me, love.
It's true.
But they're mostly in jail. Last chance. They're mostly in jail, love. They're mostly in jail. Hope you're singing, Frank. They're worse blokes than me, love. But they're mostly in jail. enjoyed Saturday streaming number 9. Thanks for coming. All the others are on YouTube if you want to have a look back through the week. This one will be up tomorrow. Next week we've got Bob Rummery. If you know Bob, you'll be coming because his work is so good. All his tunes, all his songs. If you don't know Bob, trust me. One more, sing along, Chloe. Thanks for the request too. So much fun. Thanks everybody. Oh, I hope you've noticed that. I know we're a day late, but we're in our purple today. We're at purple, absolutely, and Megan was in her purple as well. So, yeah, say no more, but thank you for joining us. Take care out there. All the numbers are going in a good direction here in Australia now with the virus, and especially down south of the border. Hang in there, guys. Thanks to the Premier for doing such a, a strong job down there and getting things under control. Let's hope that things keep moving in a good direction. And we can get back to playing footy live sometime soon. But in the meantime, thanks. See ya.
See.